All right, guys. Today here on the channel, we are joined by LEC Wooloo himself. He is bringing a new story that he has been working on very, very hard for us. And this is all about the recent addition to the LOL esports scene this year, where Riot had global emotes for the teams as an additional way to try and make some money. And we now have some further information about how that actually went this year. So I wanted to let Wooloo actually start out by just explaining this project a little bit to us at the beginning and what exactly it was. And then we'll get into some of the more specifics here in a second.
Yeah, so as it has been the case for many esports, in Rocket League or Rainbow Six or even Valorant, a lot of publishers sell in-game items or skins that represent esports teams, which is a solid way to bring revenue to teams. And yeah, in League of Legends, we never really had this other than to world final world winner, sorry, skins. But yeah, obviously, if only like all the teams need money in esports, not just the teams that win worlds.
Not just
So
T1, not just T1 every
yeah,
single
not
year.
just T1, exactly. Um, and yeah, so Riot is bringing has brought this to League of Legends as well, with in-game emotes. So not the biggest thing, to be honest, because I think it would make more money for teams if they could all have one skin for a champion in game and not just the emotes. But yeah, so that's a thing, and yet they did this for all LEC teams, for all LCS teams, also for the Asian regions. And yeah, so the big update I have today from my sources is the final ranking of all LEC teams. Which ones sold the most emotes, which ones didn't sell many emotes, and a little bit details alongside with it. But yeah, just as a last reminder, those emotes were introduced a few months ago in game. Teams have had a few updates since then about how many they sold, and yeah, recently Riot Games told teams the latest numbers, and yeah, that's how I heard about the ranking of which teams must sold the most emotes.
Yeah, and I think these emotes were actually pretty interesting because, like you said, in-game items and esports items are a really popular thing across a bunch of different esports titles right now because they're a way that fan bases can actually support their teams directly and stuff like that, rather than just like giving
Mhm.
them money or buying merch or whatever. It's just another way, and actually getting to get involved with the games that they actually really like and enjoy and play and all that stuff. And yeah, LOL esports have definitely been missing out on that, and some other esports have been doing a really really great job. And with League of Legends esports being this massive thing, and also teams maybe not doing so well financially or struggling with sponsors and stuff like that, it just makes a ton of sense to really try and do this in a big way. But what I did think was interesting about these emotes and what's maybe a little bit different than what some of these other games are doing is that the teams actually had to design these themselves and come up with the
Yeah.
ideas and everything, which is cool because you can customize it and you can make it personalized for your fan base and stuff like that. But you also have to take some time and resources and energy and come up with something cool. And I think some
Mhm.
teams did a really good job, some teams did a bad job. But either way, this wasn't like Riot creating something. This was like the teams coming up with something and like Riot putting it out for them,
Mhm.
which I think in some ways is good, but also in some ways is bad because the teams are having to work for this a little bit and everything. They're having to promote them and everything as well. So this was definitely a little bit different. But overall, we'll get into the rankings and the emotes and all that in a little bit. But how would you say that this thing went? Was this a success? Was this something teams are excited about? Did this flop a little bit? How are teams feeling after the first kind of iteration of the first year of these team emotes?
So to be honest, but I guess it was a little bit to be expected. But I heard some teams were disappointed by the results because, yeah, as I said, an emote is not the biggest thing. It's also not the costliest in-game item. So obviously, if you only get a small cut from it, um, it's not that much money for teams. It's still some revenue, but even if they sold money, it's not so much. But there is one team in particular that did sell a good amount. I think that they are happy about it, but it's still even the team that sold the most emotes in LEC, it will not like really change much to them. Like it's not like suddenly they can have Faker on the roster or anything. Like it's some more revenue. It's nice, but not game changing at all for that team. I mean, I can already say that team is KCorp, and um, you know you can hear it. I have a French accent, and some people think I like KCorp. It's not really the case, but no, they did something quite impressive. I mean, they have quite impressive results because this is multiple sources that told me, but they sold more emotes than all other LEC teams together, which is quite impressive, which I honestly didn't expect either. Um, and yeah, even what they got is I don't have the exact numbers of how much money that is, but I know they sold more than 100,000 emotes. Not much more. So uh, it's really close to 100,000. And yeah, you can check at how much emotes are being sold in game. The team only gets a percentage of it, so you can have an estimation. Um, not more than I do of how much money that would be exactly. But yeah, so other teams that sold much less emotes really didn't have too much significant income from it.
Yeah, like you said, emotes aren't even that expensive in the first place, and then if you're only getting a percentage of it, it's a little bit rough. And then, like I said as well, you took the time to probably pay somebody to design it and come up with the artwork and all that things. And yeah, KCorp, that's awesome. We know the KCorp fan base is insane and crazy and passionate, but some of these other teams have pretty big fan bases as well. It's not like G2 doesn't have a big fan base or Koi doesn't have a big fan base too. So the fact that KCorp was able to mobilize their fan base so well, that's a huge upper hand and advantage they're going to have. But it also leaves you wondering, what the heck the rest of the league was doing and just how well these emotes actually resonated with fans, and if this is something that people in the LOL esports scene actually want or care about. And then also going forward in the future, it's like, now what do you do? Are we going to do a second round of emotes? Are we going to have to come up with these things all over again? Like, is there really that many ideas or that many emotes when, again, like you talked about, there's an emote for every single team in tier 1 in the whole world? Like, I kind of worry, especially if this year, the first year, this big unveiling didn't go so well, what the heck they're going to do into the future. Because obviously, like you said, the world skins, the world championship skins, those sell well. Those are exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Riot's and the teams are going to do from here. Obviously, it's disappointing that this maybe didn't go so well this year. And I just wonder if there's any good ways or better ways or whatever to hopefully figure this out and make some money for our teams and players. Because obviously, that is really what we want at the end of the day.
So I don't know exactly what they have planned next, but I do know a few things. For example, I know that teams and Riot Games have signed a new agreement between each other, and this agreement stipulates like how much revenue, for example, Riot gives to teams, because Riot Games also directly help teams financially,
Mm-hmm.
like all this type of stuff. And I suspect there might be something related to in-game items. But does this mean they will do emotes again in the future? I do not know. But my hope is that we get like actual skins for champions for teams. Like, okay, it keeps the prestige, to have this only for world champions. But I believe like it's fair that the world champions have like one skin per player, and I think it's fine to have like one skin per team, uh, instead of five, for all teams that have an agreement with Riot Games and are in the franchise leagues. And I even believe that, this is something we all know, but next year there will be only five major regions, with Brazil and LCS merging together, all the Southeast Asian regions merging together. So it will be like very few, partner teams of Riot Games. So I think this makes it easier for Riot to introduce in-game items as well, because if you have like the less teams you have, the the more secure the partnership with them is, the easier it is to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we finally get skins for for each team in tier one league of leagues in the future. Maybe not next year. At least I really hope so, because yeah, skins sell for like 10 to 20 times maybe the price of an emote. I mean, maybe like some skins are like 250 euros nowadays, so it can be a lot more money. So yeah, I hope, I think it would be really good for the teams financially. So I think it would make sense if they do that. But just to clarify, I'm speculating a little
Yeah,
bit.
this is
Right now.
not a leak. It's not a leak. No,
Yeah, yeah,
I do kind of agree with you there that I think eventually that is probably the road they're gonna have to go down. It does kind of seem like things are leading in that direction, like you said, with less teams than ever before. Maybe it makes more sense now than ever before. And not only are skins more expensive, but skins just sell so good, and they're really like the only item in League of Legends that is like that guaranteed banger that's gonna sell a ton of stuff. And I know, yeah, the teams, the players, everyone would appreciate that a ton. But we'll have to stay tuned and wait to see what we find out for then. I wanted to thank Wooloo so much for hopping on here today and giving us some more of this information. And I wanted to get to those emote rankings that we have for all you guys, showing actually, we know KCorp's number one. We know they outsold all the other teams, but I did want to go 10-1 to show you guys the actual overall rankings, so we can get that info out to you as well.
Yeah, thank you, German. And yeah, guys, keep in mind with the full ranking, it's not per se a ranking of like the most popular teams, but I think like how much the emote is special and liked by the fans matters a lot too. So yeah, look forward to it. Thank you, Jam.
So as far as the actual emote rankings themselves, we do have a list going from 10-1 of the least selling to the most selling emotes. And at number 10, we do have SK. They were the least selling emote in the LEC this season. Their little Draven guy with the SK insignia. Some teams went more personalized. Some teams, didn't go. They went a different direction. At number 9, we do have Vitality. I think this little B guy is actually pretty cool, but it didn't sell that well. Number 9 overall on these rankings. At number 8, we do have Mad Lions Koi with their little Baron Dragon guy. Doesn't really have any Mad Lions or Koi representation at all. It is maybe a little bit surprising to have Koi this low down, but this is where they're at. At number 7, we do have Rogue. I think this one looks pretty cool. Cute little Rogue guy with the rose. At number 6, we have Giant X with their Mundo Stonks guy. At number 5, maybe kind of surprisingly bigger fan base and a team logo, an org that's really popular with some big Fnatic branding is Fnatic. So they probably underperformed a little bit. Next up, we have Team Heretics with their duck guy with the Heretics logo on it. Kind of surprised they were so high up. At number 3, we have BDS, who originally was the Pangu with the BDS hat and the hook. But I do think that eventually got nerfed to cover up the hook, because obviously the hook emoji is something that's been removed from League of Legends that Riot didn't really want in anymore, so they added the fish onto that. At number 2, we have G2 with their Samurai. Again, obviously G2, very popular team. No real shock here. But again, at the end of the day, number 1, we did have KCorp, who, like Wooloo said, from what we're hearing, they surpass all the other teams put together, which is really, really, really insane. I do think overall it's a cool, funny emote. It's got the FF stuff, telling the other people FF. It's got something you could really spam and use in games. It's also got the KCorp logo. We know KCorp fans are very passionate, very insane, and love backing their team any chance they get. Holy, great tasting energy drinks that are also healthier than the competition. Check out that first link in the description below and use discount code SE10 to get 10% off your entire basket today.